I want to talk about this here. John Kelly, of course, is going to be leaving as White House Chief of Staff. And, of course, all these folks have been talking about him and praising him and talking about him being, of course, losing his son, being a Gold Star family, 4-star general. And Kellyanne Conway blasted Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez because she called John Kelly that he exhibited cowardice by not apologizing to Congresswoman Frederica Wilson. All right, folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment. You should write this website down, marijuanastock.org, marijuanastock.org. I'm going to tell you why. As we transition into the holiday season, this is the time when we start thinking about giving and sharing. Sometimes the best gift that you can give someone is an opportunity that could potentially change their lives. That's why our friends at Transatlantic Real Estate have created an investment opportunity for the everyday investor. It involves legal marijuana and crowdfunding. Now, we all know that legal marijuana has created one of the fastest growing industries in this country. We also know that crowdfunding makes it easy to be an early investor of an opportunity. This, folks, is a no-brainer. But what Transatlantic Real Estate is doing is they have a business model that is simple to understand. They buy land that supports marijuana grow operations and lease it to the licensed, high-paying tenants. So you'll be a landlord of a licensed marijuana farm in a high-growth market. Now, you can invest anywhere from $300 up to $10,000 before the company chooses to go public. Now, here is some more good news. They have recently extended the offer, which means you still have time if you take action now. Now, what you must do is complete and confirm your application to participate. To be sure to complete the process. Don't spend all of your money over the holidays and end up with empty pockets. Instead, get a return on your investment. You can also consider making an investment for someone special. Call this your holiday gift or early gift. To get started, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. You can get in the game and do it now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. Well, this morning, of course, on The View, Meghan McCain took exception to the audience clapping on that. And I don't understand why Meghan was upset, because the reality is this here. He is a coward for not apologizing. This is what John Kelly did when he went to the White House podium in October of 2017.
In October, April rather, of 2015, I was still on active duty. And I went to the dedication of the new FBI field office in Miami. And it was dedicated to two men who were killed in a firefight in Miami against drug traffickers in 1986. A guy by the name of Grogan in Duke. Jim Comey did an absolutely brilliant memorial speech to those fallen men and to all of the men and women of the FBI who serve our country so well and law enforcement so well. There were family members there. Some of the children that were there were only 3 or 4 years old when their dads were killed on that street in Miami-Dade. 3 of the men that survived the fight were there and gave a rendition of how brave those men were and how they gave their lives. And a congresswoman stood up, and in the long tradition of empty barrels making the most noise, stood up there and all of that and talked about how she was instrumental in getting the funding for that building and how she took care of her constituents because she got the money, and she just called up President Obama, and on that phone call he gave the money, the $20 million to build the building. And she sat down. And we were stunned that she'd done it. Even for someone that is that empty a barrel, we were stunned. But you know, none of us went to the press and criticized. None of us stood up and were appalled. We just said, okay, fine. So I still hope, as you write your stories, and I appeal to America, that let's not let this maybe last thing that's held sacred in our society. A young man, young woman going out and giving his or her life for our country. Let's try to somehow keep that sacred. But it eroded a great deal yesterday by the selfish behavior of a member of Congress.
Everything that he just said was a flat-out lie. Congresswoman Wilson did fight for that funding. This is what she told the Miami Herald, quote, "I think he made it very clear when he was asked by the media over and over, and he said that he would never apologize. I think my concern was when he attempted to slander me and to impugn my integrity as a sitting member of Congress when he went to the White House briefing room and actually spoke about it to the American people. She continued, I have received death threats and I've received nooses through the mail. However, I have received so much support in the American people. I've received so much support in the military families, and so has the family of LaDavid Johnson. Maybe some people in America knew who Frederica was 2 years ago, but 90% of the people know who Frederica Wilson is now. Malik, John Kelly owes her an apology.
No, he doesn't.
Why?
No, he doesn't.
Why?
You know, first of all, the Congresswoman, she should have a seat. You know,
why?
She is the same woman who actually talked about a conversation that the President of the United States had.
No, stop. Let's stay on this topic.
We can stay on this.
What he said, Malik, what he said, Malik, wait a minute, Malik. What he said is a lie.
Okay.
It's 100% lie.
But
no,
he's
it's
not
not.
gonna apologize
No, but
for
it's
it.
not maybe. Shannon, should he?
But he's not going to apologize for it.
Shannon, the Chief of Staff to the President of the United States, went to the podium.
Don't
Went to the
apologize for
podium.
the things
Actually, they do.
Trump.
Went to the. He went to the podium. 1 second. He went to the podium in the White House press briefing room and lied on a member of Congress and said something that she didn't do when in fact she did.
Okay, so I got a couple questions on that. I understand the concept that folks think that she is owed an apology. But when you look at a lot of the things and a lot of the way people behave, there's a lot of folks that are owed apologies. And they don't get them.
Okay, I'm asking you a
number
question.
one. I hear
Should the
your
Chief of
question,
Staff
and I'm getting there.
apologize to this sister, a member of Congress? Go ahead.
If there are some apologies, they should be mutual. Because there was a lot of stuff that was done and said that was very disrespectful on both sides. So if there's apologies, they should be mutual.
Okay, how did she disrespect John Kelly?
Do you remember all of the stories and all of the concept and all of this, that, and the other that was going back and forth between all of them?
No.
Hold on,
No. I'm not asking for a general statement. I want to know specifically how did Congresswoman Frederica Wilson disrespect John Kelly?
What I'm saying to you, Roland, is that the situation, the way it was handled, was disrespectful on both sides. When you talk about how, well, nobody knew me before, but they know me now, and the comments out there about how, well, that's just made, my 15 minutes, none of that's respectful on any
No, hold up. I'm going to ask the question again, and I actually need to see the evidence of what you're saying. How did Frederica Wilson disrespect John Kelly before John Kelly went to the podium and lied?
Okay. You did ask it that way, so let me correct that. She didn't disrespect him. She disrespected herself and the office that she holds.
How?
By the way that she commented. First of all, why are you talking about yourself in the third person? If you are the humble public servant that you claim to be, there's
Her
certain
comment
things
is after the fact.
I'm answering
Her
it.
comment is after the fact. What I'm saying is, how did Congresswoman Frederica Wilson disrespect John Kelly, which caused him to come to the podium and flat out, undeniably lie?
Okay. Now, as I was saying,
because the reality about what we just
I just want some evidence.
When you have someone, I don't care what party you're in, walk up to in that White House, which is the people's house, and go to that level of detail on a lie, that is not acceptable. The Congresswoman is a big girl. She can take care of herself. But as a black woman in this country, I'm sick and tired of that White House thinking it is okay to disrespect black women.
But
Hold
what does that
up.
have to do with race and
Hold
gender?
up.
What does that have to do with race and
I
gender?
didn't interrupt you. I did not interrupt you.
Yeah, you're right.
I listened.
You're right.
I'm giving my opinion. I respect yours.
Okay, go ahead.
But as a black woman, I say that we have to challenge that White House when you think about what continues to happen. And every time it goes public with something like this, when it talks about a black woman, it's an empty barrel. Or, the way he talked about, the president talked about Rachel. It's like, come on. In this United States of America, black women are sick and tired of being disrespected. Many, I'm not saying all, some people are okay with that, and I'm saying nobody on this table, I'm assuming everybody wants to be respected in this room. So I'm not pointing at any of us. But we cannot allow anybody, I don't care if it's, I challenge Democrats, I challenge Republicans and independents. You're going to respect black women, and someone who was the highest level he was in the military, to walk up to that camera and just break down a lie. Storytelling is a powerful, powerful impact. So if you could sit there and give that level of detail and you know it's a lie, come on now. Our children are watching. And to see how
and the one that live lie.
Our children.
are
Hold on.
Our children.
But hold on.
Our children,
Wait a minute.
Our children
have watched some things
have
over
watched
the past
some
2 years.
horrific
But here's the deal, though. We have.
and just the fact that we can get on television and just call people liars.
But the other thing is this here. The other thing is this here.
2.5 years ago, we wouldn't even use the word on television.
Actually, I did.
Yeah.
But here's I did. I always call lie lie. I call a damn lie lie.
Right.
The biggest problem for me is we got video. I mean, we got video, and it is arrogant. It is arrogant. And not only that, he's serving a president who has demanded other folks apologize to him.
Hey,
And some have.
I'm not arguing that point. You know, we can say, sure, if Kelly wants to apologize, yeah, sure, he should apologize. But I don't care that he does not apologize to Frederica Wilson.
I do.
I don't think it's an issue of black women. Donald Trump ran against someone that he called Lying Ted.
Okay.
So the idea that he doesn't talk,
but he doesn't describe. He continues to describe black women, in derogatory terms.
Did you hear
and
what
that
he
is
said
the
about Ted
reality.
Cruz's wife?
Wait,
Shannon, go ahead.
Ted Cruz was stupid enough to bring him down there.
Okay, but
Shannon, go ahead.
I'm talking about
In any event,
Shannon, go ahead.
It is not just a black woman issue. If you listen to some of the things that come, don't agree yet. It's not just a black woman issue. It's a gender issue across the board with our president. So let's be real clear about that.
Yeah.
It's not just black women. It's women.
It's not just, but I'm speaking for sisters right now.
So I hear you. Okay. Now, what I'm saying is, there are some mutual apologies that should have been going on. There used to be a time when people had a certain amount of self-respect, dignity, and decorum for the office that they held. We have devolved. Like, there are so many things that people say and do that 10, 15, 20 years ago would have been unacceptable. I don't care whose party you in if you were Mickey Mouse.
4 years ago.
It's just, we no longer...
2 years, 2.5 years ago.
2 years.
No longer ago than that, because during President Obama's administration,
You
people
never
started
had
getting
that
disrespectful. Okay, so I'm not saying
coming out
by
of that
party.
White House, I'm not saying it was a perfect party.
No, I'm saying the way that people even came at President Obama was
First of all, Shannon,
unacceptable.
you're absolutely right. And look, first of all, I can tell you folks, when I was on CNN, and then I would sit there, people would say Barack, and I would go, I'm sorry, he's President Obama. I said this on ABC this week. I was raised to respect the office of the president. One of the reasons you've never heard me call Donald Trump President Donald Trump, because he doesn't respect the office of president. He doesn't. How he acts, how he talks to people, how he trashes people on Twitter, how he publicly demeans people. If you want respect, you have to show respect, and you have to give respect. The issue here for me is very simple. John Kelly, he can be a 4-star Marine. He can be a Gold Star family member. He can have years of public service. But what he did was lie. He lied on a member of Congress before the American people. He stood at the podium where the press secretary normally stands to speak to the American people. The most decent thing to do is to pick the phone up and say, Congresswoman, my apologies. What I said about you was wrong. How I blasted you was wrong. That's it. But you got to remember, this is the same White House who had a senior official joke about John McCain saying, oh, he's dying anyway. And that person called Meghan McCain and said she was going to apologize and never did. See, that's how the Trump White House works. And that is, they demand apologies from other people. And what they do is, they don't demand it, they don't do it themselves. This is very simple, John Kelly. Pick a phone up. Because what you did was wrong. You lied. It's different if you say something in a private meeting, but it's a lot different when you stand in front of the cameras in this country. And not only that, it's very rare for the White House Chief of Staff to even go to the podium in the White House press briefing room. In fact, I can't remember the times when Obama's Chief of Staff, in 8 years, addressed the public. He chose to. And that's the difference, I believe, in this case right here.